The process of unlearning and transforming your thoughts from religion to spirituality isn't easy. Spirituality for Beginners 101. Transforming our thoughts from religion to spirituality isn't easy. Hi, I'm Synolve, and welcome to the Soul Care and Wellness Spa with Synolve, where we craft and create our lives, businesses, families, love, and worlds that we desire. I'm Synolve Craft, and I'm your guide on your spiritual journey. So welcome. Grab some tea, a warm blanket, a cozy spot, and an open mind and heart. Let's begin. First, allow me to begin with a reminder. Our book for this month that we will be exploring is Love the New Currency. I will leave the link below so that you can grab it and add it to your collection as we explore this together for the month of February and embrace our inner currency and our universal currency of love. When I first began my spiritual journey, one of the things that I had to transform most in my life is through undoing and unlearning everything that I was taught in religion. How many of you know what I mean? I was taught, and you probably, are like me, I was taught not to question, right? But to simply believe and surrender. And honestly, for me, being an inquisitive person, especially a Sagittarian, born in December, it, really brought me to more questions, and I wanted to know more. And so this is why I thought that we would explore, I'd go ahead and explore this topic today, especially for people who are new to spirituality and in the beginning process of questioning and even reaffirming their spiritual beliefs and knowing, right? There's this knowing in spirituality that we are exploring in this season. As many people, especially people of color, are awakening around the world, around the globe in this season, it is important to recognize how questioning can lead you as spirit, the ancestors, began to gently nudge and guide you into your highest power, reclaiming and restoring your crown into the eternal awareness of truth. When I talk about my spiritual journey, but when I first began my spiritual journey out of traditional organized religion, I had a lot of questions, and I'm sure you did as well. Questions like, well, and I know if you were brought up in the Christian church, then, you'll understand and get many of these references, if not all, right? I had questions like, well, if the Bible says slaves obey your masters, right, in the New Testament, then what does that really mean? And what are the true implications of someone using their power of definition, right? Because my degree is in English, my bachelor's degree is in English. So I understand the power of words. So our power to define things, right? To call one person a slave and to define someone else or another group as the master. Who makes these calls and decisions? Is it people? Is it God? For me, these are some of the questions that I face. This is, really the problem, the crux of the problem that we're facing in the world today. Religions like Christianity and many of the other Abrahamic religions have encoded and embedded into them these, dare I say, barbaric principles and ideologies around, like slavery that leave and have left an indelible mark on our society. And it's difficult to erase after multiple centuries of trying. Hopefully we'll accomplish that. But we still have questions. These kinds of marks, these kinds of codes, right, if you will, are embedded, and they allow to one group to be seen as the chosen ones, and other groups to be seen as those that have been or need to be somehow subjugated, meaning brought under domination or control, especially through conquest. And so we see this playing out over and over again throughout the conquest of the Bible stories in both the Old and the New Testament, quite frankly. We see this in the Old Testament through the stories of the newly freed Israelites who take Canaan, who take Canaan, the land of Canaan, with a shout. And so we shout and we glorify, but what about the Canaans? And so they do this in the Old Testament only to enslave the Canaanites. And then we see this throughout the Old Testament, and then in the New Testament we see this as Rome dominates its conquest over Jerusalem and much of the world of the New Testament. These conquests and acts of violence through slavery, domination, and oppression are not only upheld but celebrated and revered as the will of God. And here is where we must question. Is it really the will of God for anyone to be enslaved or subjugated or dominated or oppressed? Or is it the Creator's will for all men, all women, all children to be free? We must ask these deep, abiding questions about what got us here to this point of belief and where we are in this era of belief, where Black men can be killed in the streets like dogs, where Black women are beaten, raped, murdered, and where children as young as 9 years old are pepper sprayed by the police. We must question. If we do not question the scriptures and the principles that we have been taught and that have led us to this moment, then what are we? Are we sheep? We must question how these things are allowing us, placing us, pushing us into a framework of sheepdom, where we can easily be led astray and easily be manipulated and easily be brainwashed, even against our own people, even against ourselves and our own wisdom and our own knowledge that is within. Another area, I have so many questions, and please share your questions, things that you've questioned as part of your teachings or however you were brought up in whatever religion this may be. This is a season of time where in freedom here on my channel, especially and within our tribe, where we can explore these questions, right? And so you're safe with me. So share your questions or email me, email them to me and I'll leave all that below. Another area where I have questions is in how women are treated in the Bible. Where and when and where and how do we begin to question just how women are treated and portrayed in a patriarchal system when stories like Lot, who offers his daughters who are virgins to the crowd so that they will not do harm to the 2 visiting angels. My husband is a preacher, and he's explored this in many arenas, from Bible studies to to sermons. And so it's an interesting topic that Melissa and I have both discussed. And if you'd like to go over and check out his channel, then I implore you to do so. I'll leave the link below. So as this story goes, right, the story of Lot, you've heard the story of Lot. Lot was the one whose wife looked back when the angels were leading them out of Sodom and Gomorrah, and she turned to a pillar of salt. Now, who was there to see the pillar of salt? But, we're still questioning. But The background to this story goes like this. If you haven't read it in Genesis 19 and 8, it kind of goes like this, right? Two angels arrive in Sodom, and Lot shows them hospitality. Hospitality is a part of the Old Testament principles. However, the men and the boys of the city gathered around Lot's house and demanded that he give them the two guests so that they could know them. All right, so I went to seminary to learn this, but when they say know them, they say show them their feet. Other little words like this have deeper meanings and implications around sex and sexuality, intimacy, and those things. Okay, so just for your notes, I know some of you all have your journals to take note in case you were wondering, but I'm sure many of you already know. In response, Lot offers the mob his two daughters instead. Oh my gosh. And then goes further in noting that they are virgins. How dare you? Ooh. The mob refuses Lot's offer, and the angels strike them with blindness and then warn Lot to leave the city before it is destroyed. I'm wondering, okay, now please help me, because my question is, what's your question? Please leave it below. But my question is, in the story, why is Lot saved? I mean, he's just as terrible. He's horrible. I wanted to say another word. But he's horrible in this moment. And why is he spared? Why is he given this opportunity to be spared? His choice of not saving and protecting his daughter, offering his daughter. Who asked you for your daughters? I mean, no one asked you for your daughters. He is offering them and says they are virgins. This crowd would have torn these two ladies to shreds. Isn't this not horrible? I mean, how can you have trust between a daughter and a father? This is a lot. This is supposed to be, this is Abraham's brother. This is wow, we have so much respect for Lot and his life and how he goes on, right? And gets through this without looking back. So many sermons about Lot. And so these angels are not defenseless, obviously. Because the angels strike them, the crowd with blindness, and then warn Lot to leave the city before it's destroyed. Questions. I have them. Do you? If so, what are they? These are these things that led me to spirituality. So there's this other story, because women in the Bible, I'm obviously a beautiful woman, a queen like you, many of you, and if not, I have a daughter, and you have children, so you understand my questioning. What are we teaching our girls? What are we saying to them? And so there's this story of Tamar in the Bible. Many of you know Tamar Braxton. She has said she is named for this Tamar in the Bible. And so Tamar in the Bible was the daughter of King David. And okay, now if you don't have questions about David, I don't know, perhaps this broadcast is not for you, but let's continue. I digress. Tamar was the daughter of King David and Maacah, okay? And Maacah, who was the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. Now, Absalom was the brother, was Tamar's brother, and so Amnon was their half brother. And so it's said, right, in the narrative that in the Bible story, that Amnon became obsessed with Tamar. And so Tamar is said to be beautiful like her brother Absalom. I mean, just beautiful and gorgeous. Just look in the mirror, you will see a picture of what Tamar looks like, okay? And Absalom, right, is just handsome and so fleeting, dashing. So for the men out there, look in the mirror, you will see, you'll get a picture, a glimpse of what this was like, right? And so this obsession, right? This is February, so we're talking about obsessions and unrequited love, and the difference between obsessive love and true love, all that. Okay, it plays into the story. I love it. So Amnon's friend and cousin Jonadab devised this scheme in which Amnon feigned an illness and asked Tamar to prepare him food. And of course, it's her brother. So she does it willingly. And so when she brought, in horrible friends, right? Oh my gosh, right? And so this horrible friend, Jonadab, where are the angels when we, from the, from this other story, where are these angels from Lot that, we need them, right, in this story? However, so Tamar prepares the food, and when she brings the food into his chamber, Amnon pressed her for relations, okay, for sex. And so despite her vehement refusal, he rapes her, the brother, okay? Afterward, Amnon treated her disdainfully and sent her home, hating her more than he loved her. So Tamar, she's desolate, she's been violated, she's just distraught, and her mental ability, her mental capacity are just in such a torn position. And we understand, and I feel for her. My heart goes out to her. I have cried tears when listening to this moment. I know many of you have experienced that in your own lives or have heard stories of this. And so it's devastating. So Tamar tears her robe and marked her forehead with ashes. She went home to Absalom, and he fruitlessly attempted to console her. When David heard of his own daughter's rape, right? Because we know that in the Old Testament that this practice of having multiple wives was condoned, right? So having these siblings and sibling rivalries are also a theme throughout the Bible. And so when David heard of his own daughter's, Tamar's rape, he was angered and did absolutely nothing. 2 years later, Absalom took his revenge by having Amnon murdered. I feel a clap in my spirit. I feel like the angels showed up. But don't mind me. It's just me. So then, after having done that, Absalom fled to Geshur. Now, this is all found, if you'd like to read the story, to verify the information. If you haven't heard this in Bible school or Bible study or VBS, or, hadn't been preached in a sermon, because rarely do these sermons about women, are they ever at the forefront. But don't mind me. I'm just a lady preacher, reformed. It's found in 2 Samuel 13. It's important also to note from this moment forward, when David does not acknowledge or vindicate the rape of his own daughter Tamar, Absalom and David's relationship is destroyed, and Tamar's life is destroyed as well. So there are consequences for not owning situations, for not taking up for the women and the people of our lives. And we all are, a part of a larger community where this has happened in spaces, public, religious, community. And so we've seen these things play out, and it's very sad. And where do they get this from? Right? We see it play out in the Bible, and then people play these things out in real life. And as a dear friend of mine used to say before she passed away and went to be with the ancestors, she used to say that life ain't no dress rehearsal, right? It's real. So what you play in particular spaces, right, end up and often begin to happen and show themselves in real life. As Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage and we are merely players in it. Now, my seminary days are coming forth. Yet all of this, right? Back to the topic at hand. All through all of this, women are told to submit within a patriarchal system and structure that often does not fully embrace who we are and who we are called to be, as scriptures are taught from a very narrow patriarchal lens. And so our power as women in power as Black people, right, is often misunderstood and misused in ways that oppress and subjugate and objectify women, their bodies, while their gifts are misused and their contributions are overlooked, ignored, and not acknowledged. I'm trying to restrain myself here. It's stories like this in the Bible that should lead us to question and decide how we will move forward in our lives, in our own beliefs, and also how we are to move forward as a society, and how we will move forward as a nation and globally, and how these stories, right, impact us on a daily basis, and how they embolden and empower people to act. We've seen so many stories and alleged stories and accusations of Matt Lauer and Jeffrey Epstein and so many others. And so you cannot help but to look back at what we've been taught, how we've been taught, the stories that we read, the things that we believe, to encourage or embolden people to act in ways that are clearly supported by biblical references or biblical stories. I'd like to hear what you think about that. These stories in the Bible should lead us to question, right? Now, I'm not here to tell you what to believe or how to believe. We're just having a conversation. If you're here on this journey with me, you probably already have questions. You're already ahead of the game and are already experiencing your own process of awakening, and are most likely deeply embracing the process of moving, of transforming yourself, your life, your thoughts, your beliefs from religion to spirituality, from religiosity to knowing and to loving and to honoring the power that is within. Now, I'm not saying that we need to throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? So I'm not saying that you need to throw out your Bible or throw out your beliefs. I'm not saying that. I am saying that I have come to a place of peace and understanding and wisdom and knowledge through questioning. And by allowing myself the opportunity and the freedom to question. I'm also saying that at some point, we do have to explore the systems, beliefs, and ideologies that we have been given and that have kept us bound and oppressed. Also, we must explore the systems, beliefs, and ideologies and the way that they have come to us. Did they come to us through choice, or did they come to us through force, war, subjugation, slavery, control, dominion, colonization? Many of you are already doing just that. You're already questioning and questioning and questioning, and I applaud you for the work that you are doing. This is not easy. Questioning and staying aware really are the way to harness your inner power and reclaim who you are. Allow the ancestors to guide you into perfect truth. call on all of your ancestors, including, but especially the ones who were here before the Bible, before religion, before America, before Rome, before the Quran, before the Canaanites even existed, before the Torah, before all of these things. Speak and sit with your ancestors and allow them to speak to you. There is a truth that is within you, a knowing. You know it. You know that there's more. You know that there is something deeper, something greater, something more powerful than what you have been taught, more powerful than the way things are as you see them right now. You see through the illusion and the matrix. You know there is more. And that's why you're here. So my job is to tell you this. Be courageous to reach for that more now. Questioning and surrendering to the answers are only the first stage of your conscious rewiring. We'll talk more about that in upcoming broadcasts and podcasts, so stay tuned. For now, I'll leave you with the questioning because, believe it or not, this is the gateway to freedom. In the meantime, in between time, know that yes, you are amazing, wonderful, beautiful. You are loved and worthy of this awakening moment. You are worthy of this beautiful spiritual journey that is being laid out before you, and you have been called to this moment. This moment is not for everyone. It is for you in this moment as more continue to awaken and arise. You have been called to be a leader in this moment, and you are blessed, and you are supported, and you are loved. You know why? Honey, baby, because you just are. I'm Synolve, and I love you so much. I'm going to see you in another broadcast or podcast real soon. Bye-bye, guys. Please be sure to leave all of your questions and comments below. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and a like. And if you'd be so kind, please be sure to share the broadcast and the podcast with someone who this message would bless.